right, everybody, it is Pizza Friday. Pizza Friday. So, we are, well, going to make pizzas, or calzones. Here's our pizza dough. Been in the refrigerator for, a couple days now. Normally, I would tell you that, pizza dough this much will make for kind of medium to medium small pizzas. Okay, so normally when I make this, I quarter it, into quarters. Well, that's the only way you quarter anything, I guess, would be in quarters. And I'll make, usually 4 pizzas. That are, I don't know, 10 inches or so around. But because we're going to make smaller ones, I'm going to take this and we're going to actually cut it again. So I want to try to get, there we go, a portion maybe about the size of a small orange, okay? To kind of put that into perspective, let me get a lid for one of those little plastic containers that we use, and that's, what it kind of looks like. So it's about 2/3 the size of a lid. And they will admittedly make smaller pizzas. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cupping the dough in my hand and just rolling it on my cutting board until it forms a ball. And then I'm just going to set that over there. I probably won't use all this dough, to be honest. I just don't have the oven space. So there's another one. Okay, so just like that. Let's see. There's another. Okay, so I'm making mine again a little smaller than I normally would. Kind of little pan pizzas, if you will. Okay. And the nice thing about this dough is it freezes nicely. You just take it, form it into a ball, like I've just done right there. And if you freeze it, you then have pizza dough. So, kind of give you an idea. This will make 7, approximately 7. You could take it and make 6. That one's a little tiny, that one's a little tiny, but that's okay. All right, so take my dough and I've divided it into 7 sections. We'll kind of just take a little gander at their weight. So I have my little scale right here. Oh, please work. Okay, well, my scale's dead. This is an awful scale. Every 6 weeks it runs out of batteries. Oh well. I can tell you that that's probably 6 ounces or so. Okay? Alright, so we got one pizza right there. I'm going to go ahead and just move these off to the side. I don't need them right now. I'm going to put the pizzas onto a sheet tray or a cookie tray, whichever you have. Will be just fine. You guys were all given some parchment paper. I noticed that some of you used it today for lasagna. It really was designed for your pizzas to put onto your cookie tray or sheet tray. But you have 2, so hopefully you have 1 left over. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just sprinkle a little bit of flour onto my sheet tray, just so when my pizza goes on there, excuse me, it doesn't stick. And I'm going to get a little flour on my board, like that. Hopefully you guys have a little flour. Assuming you do, every household has a little flour. Okay. Alright, so just kind of take my dough, and I'm just going to kind of start pulling it from the center and working out. Pulling from the center, working out. Okay? It's kind of forming into a disc. Now, admittedly, I am not the greatest at hand stretching dough. So I use a rolling pin. And I just start just rolling it out. I actually don't use a lot of flour on my cutting board. The reason I don't is I want the dough to actually stick a little bit, okay? Because when it sticks, as you can see, it stretches nicely, okay? Like that. Now, I'm also not one to worry about whether or not my pizzas are perfectly round. I don't care if they're round, I care if they taste good. Okay, so that's pretty good right there. All right. So the thickness of the dough, and again, if you find that it is sticking a little bit to, let's say, even just your rolling pin, just give it a little dust. Not too much, just enough so that the pin doesn't stick, okay? All right. Well, there's one right there. Okay. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we make a calzone first, okay? Because I can put the calzone right in the corner there. A calzone is kind of a pizza that's been folded in half. Think of it as like a Pizza Hot Pocket. So I'm just kind of looking, okay, so this is a good size. And I've rolled out my dough to about 1/8 of an inch thick. Gonna put a little sauce in there. Gonna make this one for my wife. She likes calzones. I'm not much of a calzone person. I prefer a pizza. All right, so there's about 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces of pizza sauce. Okay, I want to leave a little border. Don't go all the way to the edge with the pizza sauce. Okay, because you're going to need to seal your calzone. And if there's pizza sauce, well, it's just not going to stick. All right. So once I put my pizza sauce down, my tomato sauce, I'm going to put a little cheese. Okay. And again, the amount of cheese that you put is clearly up to you, but understand that more is not always better. Okay, now I'm going to add a little ricotta. I had a little ricotta in my refrigerator. Maybe you've got a little bit left over. So I've added 3 kind of 3/4 teaspoons of ricotta cheese. And my wife likes mushrooms, so I'm going to add some mushrooms like that. And I'm going to add some peppers and some onions. And if you want to hear my wife scream from the living room, I'm going to add pepperoni. No, I'm not going to add pepperoni because my wife hates pepperoni. I know it's anti-American, but it's just the way it is. All right, and I added a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Okay, just like that. So I got some sauce in there. I got some mushrooms. I got some ricotta. I've got some Parmesan or mozzarella in there as well too. Okay, for this one. And now I'm going to take and fold everything over. All right. Before I do that, I just want to gently wet the edge of my dough, and just enough to kind of make it tacky. Okay, sticky. And then I'll take the top, and I'm going to gently pull the top over and fold, over and fold, over and fold. Okay, just like that. Over and fold, over, fold, over. Okay, so there's my calzone. Now, starting at one end, okay, I want to kind of flute it. So I'm going to just kind of roll the dough over, okay, then halfway, I'm going to roll it over again, and then roll it over again, roll it over again, roll it over again, and again, and again, just making a nice little lip, okay, little crust, there, 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 here, here, and there, okay? Just kind of seal it, just like that, okay? And there's our calzone. Let me wipe off my hands, all right? And now the harder part, just kind of getting it off of the board and onto your sheet tray. Again, probably a good idea to just make sure that you have a little bit of flour so that it will come free of the sheet tray, okay? So just like that. Don't worry about shape, okay? Although, like I said, I have OCD, so I kind of worry about shape. But certainly, try not to. All right, so that's a calzone. Okay, next, let's just make a straight standard pizza. So I'm gonna add a little bit of flour. Okay, the backside's a little sticky, a little tacky. Okay, and I'm just gonna again kind of stretch. Okay. Now I know from speaking with some of you, excuse me, that you do not have a rolling pin. So I was like, well, what can we do? All right. This is what we're going to do. I have a thick Mexican, tumbler that I got, and I'll just use that. So I'll just take that, just kind of roll it. Roll, okay. Give it a little rotate, roll, flip it over. Okay, roll, just like that. Okay, just like that. All right, just starting from the outside, working my way out. I like a nice little crust on the outside, so I like to leave a little bit of a lip, okay, because I like a little thicker crust. But if you like it thinner, just roll it out a little thinner. But I'll tell you, I think this has actually worked out really well, because then you guys can see that, you know what, you don't need fancy equipment, you don't need fancy tools. You work with what you have. Just be careful. Remember, you're pushing down with glass, and it's got to be a thick glass. Okay, but look, it worked just as well as a rolling pin. So don't be afraid to be a little unorthodox. All right, so I see how much room I have right there. I want to make sure that I can fit both of these on my sheet tray. All right, that's good, just like that. All right, so now I know that I'm going to be kind of building this a little bit. So to make it easier for myself, instead of trying to make the pizza on a board and then transfer it over, I'm going to take the pizza dough. I'm just going to put it right onto my sheet tray, just like that. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit with my fingers. So I'm just kind of using my fingers, and I'm pushing out from the center, okay, just like that. So now it's already on my sheet tray. I don't have to worry about, transferring it on there. All right, now I'm going to put a little sauce. And again, we always have this more is better mentality. It's not. All right, so just like that, good. This will be technically challenging, I think, for some of you, maybe for most of you, but it's not that hard. Okay, then a little pizza sauce, or cheese. Sorry, we already did the sauce. I'm not paying attention. It's been a long day, everybody. Okay, so there, on the mozzarella. And then I have a little bit of Asiago cheese that I bought. So I'm going to put a little of that on. I got a little bit of Parmesan, a little bit of that. Okay. And I like mushrooms too. So I'm going to put some mushrooms. Just like that. That looks good already. And a little bit of Italian sausage. Okay. So just like this. All right, very good, very good, very good. All right, so we got ourselves a little individual pizza there. Okay. I did forget to mention, I believe, at the beginning of this video, and I will remind myself to do it in the morning. Please preheat your oven, okay? 300 or 475 degrees. So preheat your oven to 475 degrees before you even start, all right? All right, so we've got our mini pizza. We've got our little calzone right here. There's one thing I do want to do. I want to poke just a hole right in the top of that calzone to vent a little steam. All right, so there's our calzone. There's our mini pizza. I've got my oven preheated. I am not going to show you the inside of my oven because it needs to be cleaned, and I haven't done that. But pizza in the oven, middle shelf, 475 degrees, and they could take upwards of 15 minutes or so. I venture to say that the pizza is probably going to be done before the calzone, but we'll see. So I'm going to turn off the camera for now because we're not going to subject ourselves to, well, me filming the bottom of a cutting board while the pizzas are in the oven. So we'll come back in 20 minutes.